Thank you for joining us this evening. And I'll turn it over to Josh Askvig, our AARP State Director. Okay, Josh, take it over.
Thank you, Steve. That was wonderful. And you're like a pro. We'll have to have you for every event. So really appreciate you helping, Steve. And good to see everyone this evening. Josh Askvig with AARP North Dakota. And super excited to have you here tonight for this Music on Our Minds LGBT Lounge and Learn. And a special thanks to the Red River Rainbow Seniors for their support and ideas for programming. We're going to get engaging right away off the bat. And so before we even dive in, we got a poll question to help set the stage. So I know I love music and have a role that music plays in my life, but we're wondering what role music plays in your life. Is it something you listen to in the background? Is it something you like to listen to when you're exercising, when you want to relax, when you're working, or just is it all of the above? It's part of everything. As part of it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, either after the fact or during, you won't see the poll. It's only for those who have joined us live on Zoom today. And while you're answering that and taking a minute to think through what role music plays in your life, I want to remind you that for over 60 years, AARP has been working to promote the health and well-being of Americans 50 plus. And we've been continuing that work with programs like this to help support diverse audiences and share valuable information of interest. And we were so happy to have Steve with us as our greeter tonight. Again, thank you to Steve. If you're interested, and as you can see, it wasn't that difficult. And Steve did an excellent job with very little practice. It's something everyone can do. And so if you're interested in being a virtual volunteer and helping with these online events, please let us know. Send us an email at arpnd@aarp.org. With that, music. Who doesn't enjoy music in one form or another? And tonight we're super excited to have David Parkus with the Global Council on Brain Health join us. David, I'm going to ask you to turn your video and microphone on. Good to see you, David. Yeah, and later we're going to be joined by Sarah Locke, who will talk about some findings on research in music. So David, tell us a little bit about yourself. Welcome, and thanks for joining us this evening.
Sure. Thank you so much for the introduction, Josh. And also thank you to everyone joining us this evening. Excited to share with all of you some insights on music and brain health. This is a really fascinating topic, looking at the potential that music holds for promoting brain health and also mental well-being. Growing up, I was an amateur musician. I played French horn, so I've always, like many of you, had a love for music. But here now in my day job here at AARP, policy advisor, project manager for the Global Council on Brain Health, the GCBH, which I help oversee through my work here at AARP. So it's great to be here tonight, and I'm looking forward to this.
That's excellent, David. The only musical instrument I played in school was the radio. So you've got me beat on that as well. Hey, before I turn it over to you to go through your program, I'm going to ask Doreen to put up the poll results for us so that we can see what people are telling us how music fits in their life. So interestingly enough, 56% of the respondents said music is a big part of their life, all of the above. I didn't get to vote. They don't let me vote as the host, but that would have been the one I chose. As well. 33% said listen to it while they're working, 22% said it's in the background, and then another 11% each said relaxing when they want to relax or when they're exercising. Super fascinating and great. With that, David, I'm going to get out of your way and let you talk a little bit about music on your mind. So thanks, David.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Josh. Let me share my screen here. Okay. So if you're not already familiar, the Global Council on Brain Health, the GCBH, the work that we do here at AARP, it's just by way of background, it's a collaborative network of over 180 experts that are working in the area of brain health. We bring together doctors, scientists from some of the leading research universities, institutions that you can see here. The Mayo Clinic, Emory, head of our governance committee is from Johns Hopkins University. So really, the best of the best in this field. Of course, very global, 26 different countries currently represented in the council. Our mission is to provide really the best possible advice that we can based on the latest science about how to maintain and improve your brain health. So for this particular music and brain health study, we convened about a dozen experts from around the world, Europe, Canada, Taiwan, back in February of last year. Very fortunate in our timing. It was right before the pandemic hit. We were able to convene, luckily in person, this amazing group of music specialists, along with our moderator. If you haven't seen here, Sanjay Gupta from CNN, the CNN medical reporter, also a trained neurosurgeon as well. So Sanjay was a fantastic moderator for the music meeting that we held. Really productive discussion took place, formed the basis for our music report here, published in June this past summer, available at our website, globalcounciloonbrainhealth.org. So I will be providing some of the highlights from this effort, hopefully in an interactive and engaging way for you all. So with that, wanted to kick things off again with another one of our poll questions here. So I know we have a lot of music lovers in the room. So how often, though, do you listen or expose yourself to new music? So never, I stick with the oldies, sometimes or regularly. I love connecting with sounds. Sometimes. Okay. Interesting results. So one of the reasons that I'm asking that question in particular, let's see here to the next slide, is that music is a very powerful way to stimulate your brain, and especially new music. In fact, music is possibly one of the only daily activities that we use all four parts of our cerebral hemispheres of the brainstem in real time here. Music affects different areas of the brain, not just involved in hearing and listening, but also movement, attention, language, emotion, memory, thinking skills. These are all impacted by musical engagement. In effect, music promotes connectivity in the brain. So it's essentially training different areas of the brain to work together at the same time. Music can reinforce that coordination, those different areas of the brain sort of, quote unquote, talking to each other, which could potentially strengthen our working memory. So when we talk about music and memory, there's no doubt that music can help spark memories from many years in the past, bringing back sights, smells, feelings from when we heard a specific song. Memories around music are thought to be more durable than other memory types. They can often remain intact through stages of dementia, even in advanced Alzheimer's disease, as other memories fade. So I'm going to play a video here. It was recently published this past year, been widely circulated on YouTube, elsewhere. Maybe you've already seen it before, but as you can see, it shows a former ballet dancer, a former ballerina with Alzheimer's, and you can see what happens as she listens to Swan Lake. So let me play that here. Hopefully it'll come through okay. the video there. I've seen that video multiple times now. It really gives me chills watching. I think it really certainly speaks to the power of music and dance for those suffering from memory loss. Let's see, continue. So when, besides memory, music has been shown to have other beneficial effects on both the brain and the body. Research has suggested that music can enhance a sense of well-being. Music can often improve mood, reduce anxiety and depression. Music can also stimulate our thinking skills through learning to sing a new song, learning to play an instrument, or learning to dance. Speaking of dance, music encourages movement, so it can help motivate exercise. We know that dance and generally exercise is really one of the best things that you can do to maintain brain health. Music has also been shown, though, to help regulate blood pressure, heart rate, also help regulate stress. Listening to music that you know and like tends to cause a strong brain response and release of dopamine. So dopamine is that brain chemical that's often involved in feelings of pleasure. Dopamine levels may then increase when we listen to our favorite songs. So speaking of favorite songs, it's time for another poll question. So we're asking you all, what is your favorite genre of music? So rock, country, pop, classical, jazz, or another genre of music. Well, so we have a split between rock and classical. Very interesting. So that is interesting results. One of the reasons I'm asking, you might be wondering about musical genres, is listening to Mozart, classical music, better for my brain health? So the good news is not, that I have anything against Mozart, but is that any style or type of music can be beneficial for the brain. We do recognize it's important to take into account a person's unique preferences to maximize the potential to promote mental well-being for that person. AARP surveyed a sample of the US population about their preferences for musical genres. You can see the results displayed here. Interesting word diagrams. So for the younger adults, age 18 to 49 was pop music. Country was the top two. For middle-aged adults in kind of that 50 to 64 range, rock and country were most favored. And then for adults 65 plus, again, country, but also classical music as well. So a few more key highlights from that AARP music survey. We found that those who have engaged in music are slightly more likely to rate their overall health and their brain health as excellent or very good. We also found that those who, there we go. We also found that those who listen to music while doing everyday routine activities had slightly lower anxiety and depression scores compared to adults who never have music on in the background. So I think this bodes well for those of you earlier, who said that you're always listening to music throughout the day. And additionally, the survey found that attending musical performances, again, has a small but positive effect on mental well-being scores. So you can see here in this chart some of the specific areas that we asked about in the survey about listening to background music, specifically the ability to remember names, learn new things in general, and finish what you start. So those who listen to background music about half the time or more, often in all cases ranked higher than those who didn't. So with that kind of background information in mind, I wanted to move into some of the specific recommendations that the Global Council has put forward in its report. This is just a quick video of our top tips. I'll play this and then we can kind of break it down a bit more.
Here are your AARP top tips on how music can help keep your brain healthy. A new report from the Global Council on Brain Health shows that music isn't just fun, it can actually benefit your brain. Here are 4 ways to harness the power of music. Listen to new music. Exposing your brain to different instruments, styles, and rhythms is like exercise for your brain. New songs help strengthen your brain as it works to understand the unfamiliar melodies. Make music with others. It's never too late to start a band. Singing or playing an instrument is fun, engages multiple parts of your brain, and creates a connection with others. Forming new friendships is especially important for older adults, potentially lowering the risk of cognitive decline and dementia. Just be sure to follow current safety precautions related to COVID-19. Dance, sing, or do both. Cutting a rug is great for your cardiovascular health and can help fight off dementia. And belting out your favorite song not only feels good, studies show singing may also pack a punch against disease by increasing proteins in your blood that fight inflammation. Put on a happy tune to reduce depression and anxiety. Listening to a sunny song can trigger joy-inducing brain chemicals, which can also benefit your immune system. And when caring for loved ones with dementia, play their favorite music to create positive moments together or spark happy memories. For more tips to keep your brain healthy, go to aarp.org/brainhealth.
All right, so just to kind of flesh out a bit more about what you heard in the video, our recommendations for individuals. So first and foremost, incorporate music into your life. I know I'm already kind of speaking to the choir here, but do seek out opportunities to further integrate music in your daily routines. We encourage you all to explore technology on your computer, your phone, apps such as Pandora, Spotify. Those can offer recommendations on music that you might like. And also, while you might already enjoy listening to a lot of music, our second recommendation is to dance, sing, or move to music. So like I said before, physical activity is one of the best things for brain health and your overall cardiovascular health. And of course, music can motivate you to move your body, whether it's just dancing in your house, perhaps going out for a walk with headphones. Music can make exercise seem easier, kind of with that synchronization of the rhythms. Third recommendation is to enjoy listening to familiar music, music that you know and like. Your favorite music, I'm sure, has that ability to comfort, reduce stress, can also release those feel-good brain chemicals, dopamine, that I had mentioned earlier. But at the same time, as I've stressed before, do try listening to new music, perhaps a different artist or genre of music. Exposing your brain to new rhythms, new sounds is kind of like a workout in itself, a workout for the brain. Those unfamiliar melodies can help stimulate the brain. Finally, make music yourself. So learning to play a new instrument, or really just playing an instrument, perhaps if you're already a musician, certainly a very engaging brain activity. If you're not a musician, singing, dancing, learning to sing a new song or a new dance step also can also help keep your brain sharp too. So these are just some of our top recommendations. We do have a total of 10 recommendations in the full report, again, available on our website. The infographic you can see here, it's a handy tip sheet, one pager, if you'd like to check that out, download. It's available on our website. So as far as our recommendations for communities, so in normal times, before the pandemic, joining a community choir, for example, would be a great way to get involved, enjoy music, socialize with others. So I think until it's safe for those sorts of in-person activities, there's still a lot of opportunities through virtual platforms, just like this, social media. This is a screenshot from our holiday concert last year that AARP, my team co-sponsored in coordination with an organization called Encore Chorale. Encore Chorale is the nation's largest choral organization for adults over 55. So every year they put on a holiday concert over at the Kennedy Center. Given the pandemic, the concert last year was organized online, broadcast through YouTube. Lots of different opportunities like that. This virtual world, has allowed, new technology that allows everyone, to hear each other in real time. So yeah, if you are a family member might be interested, check that out, encorecreativity.org. So you might also be wondering about, more kind of medical and clinical types of interventions. Music therapy is now being used to treat a wide array of physical and mental health conditions. Music therapy has, as you can see here, been shown to help reduce symptoms of depression, anxiety, agitation, can help encourage mindfulness, manage stress as well. Music has also been integrated into therapies for patients with movement disorders caused by neurodegenerative diseases, including Parkinson's. For people who have experienced a stroke, music in particular has helped them regain speech and control over the movements. Singing and also in particular has shown to have benefits for stroke patients and those recovering from the loss of language functions. Music is also being explored as a treatment for Alzheimer's and dementia. Though really have to stress here, there's a lot of work and research that needs to be done in this area. However, we do know that it does provide a meaningful way for individuals with Alzheimer's to connect with caregivers. Again, while we cannot say that music is a cure for dementia, it can improve mood, quality of life, like I've said and stressed a lot here today. Same thing, it can improve mood and quality of life for those living with dementia. And again, reduce anxiety, depression, help with some of the behavioral symptoms that we see, like agitation, wandering, restlessness. But again, still a lot more research that needs to be done using music as a therapeutic tool for treating dementia. So that said, music holds significant potential to help enhance brain health in many ways I've just discussed, from helping to foster social connections, mitigating stress in your daily life, or just easing the burdens of dementia and caregiving. Music has significant potential to help enhance brain health. So the full music report, as well as the survey, the infographic I mentioned, are all on our website, globalcouncilonbrainhealth.org. Everything is free, whether you're an AARP member or not. You can find it on the website, globalcouncilonbrainhealth.org. We have a lot of other resources available. So to date, we have published a total of 11 different reports exploring a full range of other brain health topics. Most recently was our special report on COVID and brain health, looking at how you can help protect brain health and mental well-being as the pandemic continues. For each report, we publish an infographic. It's kind of like a bite-sized version of the report. If you don't have, if you don't have the time to read the entire report. I also will note that all of our reports are translated into Spanish. Our infographics here, those are translated into 4 different languages: Spanish, French, Arabic, and Chinese as well. Again, all of this available on our website for free, globalcouncilonbrainhealth.org. If you are an AARP member, encourage you to check out Staying Sharp. This is AARP's more interactive program. They offer content about brain health. It's structured around what we call the 6 pillars of brain health. So socializing, engaging your brain, managing stress, exercising, and getting proper sleep, also eating right. You can learn more about the 6 pillars through the Staying Sharp website. That's stayingsharp.aarp.org. There's also a new app, a new phone app. If you're interested, it's a mobile version of Staying Sharp that just launched as well. Compatible with both the iPhone, Android, all of that good stuff. Lastly, also, if you're interested in receiving updates from the GCDH, we distribute an e-newsletter on a roughly quarterly basis. I think, in fact, our newsletter should be going out here pretty shortly. That newsletter provides a lot of updates on the latest reports, events, activities that we've got going. If you'd like to sign up, feel free, to shoot us an email with your first and last name, gcbh@aarp.org. There's no no kind of form to fill out. You just include a note saying you'd like to sign up to that email, gcbh@aarp.org, and we'll add you to the distribution list. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Contact email is here. And I know we have time for some Q&A as well. I think Sarah might have joined us too.
Yeah, thanks, David. Excellent presentation, and I get a chance to introduce Sarah Locke, who is the Executive Director of the Global Council on Brain Health. Sarah, thank you for being with us here tonight as well. Before we've got a couple of questions that have come through, but before I do that, Sarah, anything else you want to add? I mean, David gave a heck of a presentation. But
he did. I'm very impressed, and I have to say, very glad. His excitement is infectious, and it's about music and brain health. I think that's probably the most powerful thing about music, is that there is something about it, just like, David's good cheer, that's very appealing. And I just want to say that that's probably the most powerful thing about music, is the way that it connects us all. And so back over to you to manage any questions, and I'm happy to answer any questions that David doesn't want to.
Did you catch that, David? I think you got a license to punt on all of these as part of it. No. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us as well. I know you had multiple events tonight, so we appreciate you popping in. David, I got a couple of questions. The first one is in reference to your survey, and I think it came through shortly after you showed the slide about types of music and some of that. So, and I'm not sure. So if the person who asked it, if I'm in the wrong spot, please retype the question in a different format. But their question was, did anyone consider including church hymns or other religious music in your survey?
Sarah, do you know if I think we would have included that, religious and spiritual music.
We usually do, but I don't think in this case we did. And the reason I think that is because we were looking at different cultural groups and asking them, trying to hit what we knew were very large groups of popular kinds of music. So I don't know if you saw the slide. Did you show the slide with the
Yeah,
the records? They look like records.
Yeah,
the old vinyl. I shouldn't say old vinyl. It's because it's now new, right?
vinyl's cool. That's totally cool now. But people had the opportunity to write in their favorite music during that survey. So it may have been that it just didn't rise to the top to make the vinyl circle, or it could be there in really small print. We should check that out.
Awesome. So thank you for that. So the other question that's related to that as well is, are there any types of music that are not as good to listen to? So the example they gave is heavy metal or anything like that, or is all music good music?
Yeah, that's been a common question before. The way I kind of like to approach this is that the music is really kind of simply like the medium, and it's really kind of the mechanism for promoting brain health. So I mean, we recognize that all different types of genres, and whether it's classical or even heavy metal, do have the potential to support brain health and mental well-being, whether it's helping to foster social interactions, or again encouraging exercise. There's really no specific genre of music that's been shown to kind of help promote brain health over the other. It's I would say that if if you listen to heavy metal and you crank up the volume and blast out your eardrums, that's bad, right? So I think that right, you have to. I mean, it's really the music is the mechanism, the medium for promoting brain health.
And I will just add that personal preference makes a big difference, right? It's what your personal tastes are. The specific recommendations the Global Council made on this point was music that you like helps build mood and supports mental well-being. So things that you're familiar with can be very calming. They can help induce sleep, familiar kinds of tunes, but actually music that tests your thinking a little bit, that stretches you a little bit, stimulates and helps build new neurons and neural pathways. So it's not that you always want to listen to the same old songs, but take the songs that you like, the genres that you like, and get outside your comfort zone a little bit in testing it out, with new harmonies or with new partners or with more difficult pieces to listen or appreciate, because then that can help stimulate your brain. So one thing that I don't know, David, if you remember the experts' conversation, I found fascinating. There were even some who talked about music that almost always you think is positive, but they talked about that music can be an instrument for torture, that the brain is so sensitive to this, that one exquisite form of torture is, let's say you were in a long-term care facility and you weren't able to move. If you had to listen to music you hated, it would just be the worst thing for your brain. So personal preferences make a big difference, but nobody's going to tell you that Mozart, is going to make you form more neurons than Metal Jacket.
Awesome. So metalheads rock on, and everybody else pick what you like as part of it. So
That's
awesome. Thanks. One of the things that has been mentioned is, so you focused on music, and I know a growing industry is podcasts. And so is it just the listening aspect of it, or is it the actual instrumentation and the musicality? You get where my question is going, I guess. I know a lot of people are listening to podcasts, where they might have listened to music before. And does podcasting, talk radio versus music make a difference, or do you know?
So, there's something about music that has significant levels of information coming into your brain. So in addition to melody and rhythm and pattern and sound, there's something unique about the combination of music that's different than conversation. It's not to say that podcasts are bad, right? Podcasts can serve stimulating auditory kinds of things, but there is something unique about music, how it operates on virtually every single part of your brain simultaneously, and acts as a way as cohesively bringing it together that makes music unique.
Awesome. So a couple more that have come through. Time of day matter. Does it matter when you listen to the music? Is better at bedtime, better in the morning, better in the middle of the day, or maybe it doesn't matter? Is there a certain period of time?
From what I've read and seen, it really, I don't think the time of day necessarily matters. I think that, listening to music in the morning, perhaps again, can motivate you to encourage exercise, just get up and moving, as well as even during the day, just getting up, certainly to take a walk, maybe through the neighborhood during the afternoon lunch hour, put the headphones on and get up and moving around, and especially before bed. We've heard a lot that music can also kind of help relax and calm as well. So I think, really, morning, noon, and night. From what I've seen, it can be beneficial.
Awesome. So I got one more. And again, if you have more, there's more. So this one comes from a now super volunteer and former colleague of ours, Lyle Halverson, who just retired recently. Part of it, he wants to know, talk more about music therapy for those with dementia.
Sarah, did you want to tackle this?
Sure. So congratulations, Lyle, on your, what is it, your second retirement now? You're living life large, right? So you just keep on adding some new transitions in the world. So congratulations. It's very interesting. Dementia, music therapy for dementia has shown very powerfully to aid in helping manage difficult behaviors with dementia. So things like anxiety, agitation that are common symptoms of people living with dementia, music has been very, very effective at dealing with some of those issues. The other thing about music and dementia in specific, and I know David probably talked about this, the relationship that caregivers have to people with dementia. David talked about the social connectivity aspect of music, the relationship that a caregiver has and that can share common experiences with someone who is living with dementia, even in the latest stages of the disease, that a person with dementia can recognize and hear music and respond to music. That relationship and building that and having something to experience together that's pleasant has been found to significantly assist the relationship between caregiver and person with dementia. So it is over and over found to be one of the more effective interventions. And although I can't tell you that music cures dementia, it certainly doesn't. And I can't say that it prevents it. What I can say is that for people with dementia, having something that you can connect with people with is incredibly important at the human level. You may lose conversational ability, but you rarely lose the ability to appreciate and experience and benefit from music. So that caregiver person with the person experienced in dementia, that those therapies have significantly found to reduce caregiver depression and caregiver anxiety, along with helping the person with dementia. The other thing that I would say about that is we are looking at its impact. And in fact, AARP has been working with the Aspen Institute and the Johns Hopkins Arts and Mind Lab to look at what we can quantify as the economic benefits of music therapy when it comes to dementia. And we found increased productivity, people able to maintain their jobs and their mental well-being longer because of music therapy. So we are finding literally like hour by hour basis, the science is developing, the economic study of the benefits are being developed. Look for that work coming out December 1st. It's really tremendous, and recognizing the importance of music as dementia therapy is something that the NIH is interested in, the National Endowment for the Arts, and putting more money and resources into exploring the positive aspects and the relationship that music have not only to dementia, but to other health conditions like Parkinson's, stroke, and I bet you David mentioned some of the others. We're finding more and more the power of non-pharmacological interventions, things as powerful as music. Understanding the mechanisms of that is something we need more research on so that we can scale it up and apply it to everybody like you would a pill. But I can just say now the field is incredibly promising. More and more music therapists are available and realize the benefit, and more long-term care facilities. And you don't have to be in an institution to take advantage of the benefits of music therapies. There are now programs that you can participate in virtually that or at home with home care. But finding a trained musical therapist is probably one of the most important things that you can do as you're planning ahead and thinking about dementia care.
So can I just dig a little deeper on that specific question, sir? Because you just said something at the end that I think just sparked a question for me, I guess. And then there's another question in the chat. So you said finding a trained musical therapist versus just playing music or providing it on their home on your own. So there is a difference between music therapy. This is going to sound obvious, but can you just talk a little bit about what the difference of music therapy is versus just playing music for a loved one? And I know you're still doing the research on how that works, and I heard you talk about scaling it up, and I know there are at least long-term care facilities in North Dakota that are doing some modeling or testing of that as well. But can you just talk a little bit more about what music therapy looks like and how it's different than just simply playing music for people?
Yeah, I really appreciate that question. And I will tell you, because we're the Global Council on Brain Health, there is a big difference in the schools of thought about whether you need a professional musical therapist to engage in order to reap the benefits. And not surprisingly, music therapists are big proponents of their professionalism, right? But when we asked the Chinese experts, they were like, you don't have to be a therapist. We are living it. We've seen it. The truth is, like anything, there are people who are more skilled at learning how to intervene with people who are in later stages of dementia more effectively. And so that skill and that training is very useful. That is not to say that you still can't get some benefit from the simple, let's just share some tunes that I know my aunt loves, right? And I certainly wouldn't discourage that. But if you have the advantage of getting trained musical therapists in in your plan of care, I would advise it, because they just understand and know and get to the point more quickly than you might from trial and error. But there's no substitute for knowing that person and knowing their personal taste. You know how we talked about that? If you knew that your aunt loves Sousa marches, it would take a musical therapist probably a long time to figure that out, right?
Right.
So there are things that you as friends and family know better than any trained therapist would.
Got it. No, that was very helpful. It just when you said that at the end, it triggered in me, there's got to be a difference in this and part of it. Okay, another question that came through in the question and answer, and you talked a little bit about this earlier, but I think they're specifically asking about sleeping. And so the question is music good to have on while you're sleeping?
David, do you want to go for that one?
Yeah, that's another common question. I think that, as long as it doesn't interfere with sleep, right? Because sleep is perhaps one of the most important things you can do for your brain health, getting your 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep. So that's tough. I think perhaps if music can make you, fall asleep better, but as long as it's, not interfering with sleep. What do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, I would agree with that. The phenomenal snooze buttons where music can kind of nod you off to sleep. And there are people who really find that very soothing. And so I would recommend a test approach. Like if it keeps you up, I would agree with David that that's not a great thing. But finding those melodies that, if you can use music as a tool to remind yourself, set an alarm and music goes off, and then this is my clue. I'm starting to clue my environment into getting relaxed time. That can be powerful clues to help train your brain to actually sleep better if you get into those patterns that are comforting to you by using music that is soothing and calming.
Awesome. So, hey, this has been great. David, Sarah, anything else you just want to add before we stop the recording? You guys, you covered a lot, so I don't know what else as well. But all right, well, I do also want to give a shout out. Thank you to you both, and please stay put because we might have a few more questions here in a second. But I do also want to give a shout out to Doreen and Wendy, who've been doing all of the production in the background. And it truly is a team effort. I say this in almost every single time I do this. I oftentimes get to do the speaking, get to do the fun part and as part of it, but it really is a team effort. And so between Doreen and Wendy and now Marnie and Janelle and our intern Alexis, it really is all of them pulling this together and all of us working together to make these things happen and do that. So thank you again for joining this Lounge and Learn.